You received intelligence that suggests that there are perhaps deep water alien bases right now sitting on the ocean floor on this planet. Is that accurate?
I would say that's pretty accurate.
Hey, what is up and welcome back. Guys, you will not believe what the topic is today. Underwater alien bases and its officials within the Office of Representatives, specifically Tim Burchett. Guys, there's some really fucking big news that just came out and you're not going to want to miss any of it. So make sure you don't go anywhere and go through this journey with me. It's some major updates.
Sticking out your tongue for the picture. You're so pretty, you're so popular.
Sorry to cut you off, sir. You received intelligence that suggests that there are perhaps deep water alien bases right now sitting on the ocean floor on this planet. Is that accurate?
I would say that's pretty accurate.
Can you go into more detail? How long have they been here? Where are they?
Well, I'm extrapolating all this with my East Tennessee vernacular. So we've got five or six deep water areas of our oceans. We actually know more about the surface of the moon than we do about these areas. And these are areas where we have a high frequency of UFO or UAP sightings. We've had naval folks have told me pretty high up that they've actually tracked these things. Now, we have stuff that can go underwater probably 30 to 40 miles an hour, maybe something a little faster that the Chinese haven't stole from us yet. And we've tracked things big as a football field going 200 miles an hour. Now, I realize in the water you extrapolate that to knots and all that, but just for good old East Tennessee common sense, 200 miles an hour, something the size of a football field. And we don't know what it is. And these are in these areas. So, yeah, there's something going on there. And whether it's something that's been here for millennial or whatever, and I'm not afraid of it. I'm kind of like Dr. Loeb. I love to study this kind of stuff. It's the scientific material there he's the one that disclosed some things that were found that were extraterrestrial in our oceans. And, he's brave enough, I believe, to come forward with those. So I'm looking forward to some more talks about this. But I think I've kicked the hornet's nest because it was just in a casual conversation with a blogger, and I discussed it. It wasn't in a classified setting, so I could talk about it. But I always remember the last thing this one high-ranking official told me as he left my office. He was right close to me as I am to my phone in my barn right now, and he said, "Tim, they're real."
What do you guys think? I'd love to know what you think personally, because this is just so crazy and wild to think about, right? 5 different places where the ocean is deepest, where the supposed alien bases are, and these things hovering around using anti-gravitics and technology like that. It's just free range. They're just like, and we haven't explored even the tiniest little bit of our own oceans. We've explored the moon more than our deep sea, right? And the way he describes the absolute size of these things going at incredible speeds underwater, and him thinking it's not the US, that's crazy. I don't even know if any other adversary, when and where would they have gotten this advanced, and if it's better than what the US has. Like, usually these countries have to reverse engineer something of the US. Like their aircraft, for example, a lot of espionage, spy, hacking, shit like that to get designs. There's a lot of stories about it available online. It's like a really sophisticated thing. And they do it really smart. And there are some really good hackers that are state-sponsored these days. And then you got claims of Atlantis, right? It's fucking, what world are we living in? Is that the reality we are in? And we just don't know it. And this break of civilization is just so good and technically advanced. They actually study us. is this because we're all children of the ocean, right? Fundamentally, life developed from water and the ocean, and that's the whole thing that made it possible. So what if we just branched off from each other there? We became monkeys. They became the super advanced fucking, I don't know what that is, right? I want to see how a life form looks of one of these things living in the ocean.
These are entities that are here on this earth, that have been on this earth, that, who knows how long, and that we, you know, we think they're coming in from way out. Maybe they did a millennial ago, but they're here and they're in these deep water areas, and that's why. I mean, like we say, we know more about the face of the moon than we do what's going on there, and we have a higher propensity of sightings around these 5 or 6, I believe, deep water areas. And so to me it just it creates a question there. And then when we have naval personnel telling me that we have these sightings and that there's these underwater craft they're chasing that are doing hundreds of miles an hour, and the best we've got is something that does maybe just a little under 40 miles an hour. So I got a lot of questions about that stuff, and
the actual intelligence agencies must be losing their goddamn minds, right? We have no cameras in the ocean. We have no, you know, ways of spying on these people besides like really high technical equipment used by the government. Like, we don't even know what the fuck they have. They probably know so much more about this specific phenomenon. And I kind of believe like maybe there's a few different kinds of phenomenon. It just feels like there's so many directions that it can't all be the same. Do you feel the same? I don't know. But fascinating stuff. Always been like so curious about the ocean. It's like this big fucking pool of water filled with life that is unknown and alien to us, right? Especially the deep. When you get to the luminescent lighting, like the pressure down there that makes life so hard to form, and then they form in all these weird ways. Really fascinating stuff.
But there are 5 deep sea areas. We know more about the surface of the moon than we do these areas. And Bobert scratched the surface of it. We only get 5 minutes, and you know they don't want these answers brought out too much. There are 5 deep sea areas, and there's a lot more, as they call it, activity. And I've talked to some people off the record about that.
Gotta absolutely love Burchett, man. Like, this guy's just good vibes, trying to get to the truth. Him and Avi Loeb seems to be fucking best friends right now. Tim Burchett, really chill guy, fighting for the right stuff. If you're bipartisan on the UAP issue, I think you're pretty cool. Yeah, Burchett seems really interested in this stuff, and I'm so glad we're seeing his name pop up again and again. It makes you feel like there's a representative that wants to represent your interests, right?
And the ability for these things that we've seen in the video, the one video where they fly under the water and then come out, we have nothing of that capability. So I think we ought to look at that. The ability of something to fly, you know, as I state, every night I go out with my dogs. They go to the bathroom. They won't go to the bathroom when I go to bed. They got to go at 4 o'clock in the freaking morning. So I'll go out there and look at those stars. And the stars, the light from those stars literally left that star before the time of Christ. So, I mean, you're talking about the vastness of God's universe. It is beyond our mental capacity. So the ability for something to travel that far, I think, is very difficult. I think something could be here that is not of our origin.
Love the specific wording there. Something that may be here that is not of our origin, right? What does that even mean? Does it mean Earth is not the origin? Or is the ocean the origin, meaning it's different to us? Are we going to be like us versus them? Is that how tribal we are going to come forth with this? Are they going to come forth like that? Do they only do things in their best interest? Like, we have no idea how any of this even is. So this kind of UAP phenomenon we're specifically talking about is USOs, underwater submerged objects. Anomalous underwater submerged objects, what the fuck, yeah. So these things are really interesting. There's tons of cases of this too. Football field size craft moving in the water at insane speeds, going to the air, back to the water. Some really crazy shit. The skunkworks either has something insane that is super classified, or guys, this might just be it. This might be aliens.
Of UAPs emerging from or submerging into our water, which could indicate a base or presence beneath the ocean's surface.
I don't know about a base, but as I mentioned, I had a different source entirely describe this pretty extraordinary footage that exists of orbs, of an orb coming out of the ocean and being met by another orb.
Some would say that there's multiple hotspots where we see frequent activity. So in your investigations, have you come across any data or visual evidence like sonar readings or underwater footage of these UAPs?
I have not beyond what's in the report.
Yo guys, I don't know if you can tell, but I'm really fucking tired. But I'm gonna push this day out. I'm not gonna sleep, gonna push it through. Gonna get a good night's rest, and I'm gonna be making some sick ass content for you tomorrow. Sorry if I sound like a downer today, but yeah, just a bit tired, but I'm getting this shit out. Subscribe, like, we might as well plug, right? No sponsor, the sponsor is the channel. Like this video, interact any way possible. It helps out a ton, more than you know. Sharing, oh my god, yeah. Groups, anything. Send it to your grandma, fuck. Like this video, we're trying to have it not shadow banned, like we're being suppressed, guys. Pretty serious. So any help you can provide, there's so many free ways you can support the channel if you do enjoy this type of content, even a little bit. And we're trying to grow to 1,000 subs by the end of this year. I know it's a crazy dream, but let's try, okay? We got to dream big. I got my Patreon down below. You can support for as little as $1, which is less than you tip your waiter, or less than what you pay for a coffee. Guys, yo, will make my week as well. So if you can do that, PayPal, many social media links. Let's get connected. You can DM me directly too.
A friend you mentioned as well in the Merge podcast that actually checked out some coordinates out under the Catalina or nearby the Catalina Islands. Amazing effort there. Can you explain what he found and what your thoughts are on that area?
Right. That was interesting. There is a geologic feature that I described on Ryan's show that right now I've not been able to find a natural explanation for. It looks like a wedge taken off a thing called a knoll. It looks like an underwater ridge, basically. And a wedge from it was totally carved out and horizontally displaced 2 kilometers. It's on the seafloor. It's at a depth of about 700 meters. And of course, I just want to find an explanation for it, but it does cause one to speculate. Is that evidence of undersea UAP interaction with the seafloor, or a location for undersea infrastructure where these things go?
I think some scientists should get together, do some fundraising in the interest of the public, like Avi Loeb, like his boat expeditions looking for things in the deep sea and ocean. He should get all these spots and, investigate them to the fullest force of the scientific method. Guys, we should send underwater submerged objects our own. We should equip them with the highest quality and withstanding camera systems and record whatever we fucking find. If we see some crazy shit, Atlantis, underworld, underwater type shit, oh, that would be so sick. And just another thing I want to say is there are servers and places of communication where data is being stored right now, where there's footage of these objects in the water, everything the government knows. And do you think a 3-letter agency would not be losing its mind trying to find out more, being curious, wanting to make this a weapon, whatever they are? They just want to know more. I can't even imagine the footage that is classified that we have not even come close to seeing. It would take an act of God, truly a miracle to make these things public and for us, our eyes, to collectively enjoy this content. I really hope it happens. Some more gets leaked. Give us some more dead drops. Anyone out there, I got a proton.me link. I will bring it forth. There's so many people, so probably choose whatever you want. But We need to see some more, I think.
Here on our planet, many of which are located high in the desolate areas in the mountains, where very few people ever go, and beneath the sea. There's a major base in the Pacific that we're virtually certain exists off Baja, between Baja and Guadalupe Island, potentially beneath the ocean floor. This has been monitored. We have hundreds of videos of the vehicles coming and going from that location and plunging into the sea and going down into and coming from this base. This is extraordinarily important for everyone to understand. Very importantly, there is some percentage inside our national security state apparatus that knows this to be true.
Gotta love Danny Sheehan. He's always in all the hearings, and he's such a familiar face with his like white hair, looking like UFO Santa Claus, right?
I think that's a great question. I think I don't know that I can say I know exactly where they are. Some people might feel that way. But I can say I've got a pretty decent guess as to where I think they probably would be based on the activity that I have recorded in my research. I have on my Google Earth, I have a yellow pin on every single case with the date, when it happened, and so forth.
Wow.
I've got them organized by decade. I can say I want to look at all the cases from the 1960s, and I can do that. So it's very well organized. So I can say that there's a few places that look very interesting to me. One is north of Puerto Rico. If I had to throw money down at any one location, I would say somewhere near the Puerto Rico Trench.
See, the detective work is phenomenal. We should go out there with all these spots in mind that is so well categorized, and we should just get to the bottom of this. Truly disclosure, guys. It's gonna be such a fun ass time. I will update you on every process along the way. Make sure you're here getting your news from the best and most best growing channel out right now, and that's this, guys. We're gonna take over all the competition. Best channel right now, trying to get over 1,000 before the end of the year. That would be so sick.
Knowledge of the oceans is more than a matter of curiosity. Our very survival may hinge upon it. The seas offer a wealth of food for the people of the world. Mineral resources on land will ultimately reach their limits. We may be able to extract additional elements in the water. To predict, and perhaps someday to control, changes in weather and climate is of the utmost importance to man everywhere. These changes are controlled to a large and yet unknown extent by what happens in the ocean. Additional research is necessary to identify the factors in this interplay. These are some of the reasons which compel us to embark upon an important national effort in oceanography. This is not a one-year program or even a 10-year program. It is the first step in a continuing effort to acquire and apply the information about a part of our world that will ultimately determine conditions of life in the rest of the world. The opportunities are there. A vigorous program will capture those opportunities.